By the way, I thought it was interesting, Jay Feely on the broadcast, he had tweeted this, but he confirmed it yesterday on the broadcast where he said, hey, Cade York's problems are not on the holder.
Yeah, he did say
It
that.
was Cade, he showed, that was really good, he showed his mechanical issues. I thought it was important for Cade York, had a good day yesterday, made all 5 of his kicks.
Yeah,
because he's a talented, it's clear he's a talented player, but he's, with the kickers, it's always about the mental hurdles and some of the mechanics, which Jay Feely is as qualified as anybody to point out.
And I just don't understand why these teams don't go and hire. I'm not saying it has to be Jay Feely, but get a former kicker and bring him on as
I don't
consultant.
understand.
Well, I think some of the problem, Jason, is this for York. It's he seems to kick very well when the conditions are well defined. So he was in that turf yesterday.
Indoors.
It was indoors. He was spot on. It's when he hits the conditions that he's unfamiliar with. He like a bad golfer,
and
right? You
fairness,
don't know what he's gonna tee the ball up.
In fairness, his home stadium is one of the toughest in the league to kick in,
yeah.
especially at that end toward the lake. And it's just
But that's why they drafted him, because
and-
they thought he could handle that.
And he can. I think he can, but there's still got to go through it a couple of times, and you still have to learn the wind. And I think I talked about this on the show before I was talking to him. Like the wind changes from the first quarter to the third quarter, and all you have is those 2 flags at the top of the upright, and you got to figure it out. And just because the ball went one way in warm-ups or went one way at halftime doesn't mean it's going to do the same exact thing 15, 20 minutes later. So it's really difficult, but you're right. That's why they drafted him. He's going to have to figure it out, and I think he will.
Yeah, this week to me is going to be big because when you're looking to upset a team, right? You're looking to go into Cincinnati get a win. You need all things to happen the right way, right? Especially when you got a quarterback that is not comfortable and you're kind of compromised. And I don't want to start nothing. I don't want to say, CG Bush, why you do this? Why you do this? To be honest with you, if the Browns was like, and they'll never do this, but to be honest with you, even at this point, if you had Jacoby Brissett playing the Bengals, they have a better chance of winning.
Are you saying this coming Sunday?
Yes, just for one game, you have a better shot to win this game with Jacoby Brissett. And I don't think anybody would argue that. But it's not about, they keep saying it ain't about this year. If you look at it, the trajectory.
You're not advocating for playing.
I'm not advocating for playing. But if we were realistic and you said, all right, we got he's playing at a higher because he has the reps, because he's familiar. When I saw Jacoby on the sideline, like coaching him up a little bit, Jacoby was like, no, you could. Smiling a little bit. Yeah, I know you saw that, but not this way. And the way he was explaining it, if Jacoby Brissett was behind center against the Bengals, he gives them, I would say by a fairly decent amount, a better chance to win the game.
I don't know.
Because he's still familiar.
Give me the better talented quarterback every time.
But here's the thing.
Every time.
If the better, here's the hope. Your hope, the better talent can multiply those reps and get better and accelerate way faster than the journeyman. But if you look at the way Jacoby was throwing the ball and you look at the way that Watson was throwing the ball, everybody sees that right now he's throwing the ball better.
Here, look at Mary Kay's comment right here. What are you talking about? They're committed to Deshaun Watson. We're developing Deshaun Watson.
Of course,
going
that's all that
forward.
matters.
So why are we even talking about this?
Yeah.
Because we're not going back the other way.
But she's not. I understand what he's saying. He's not saying you should play.
No.
That he might. I don't think it's a crazy argument. I disagree, but I don't think it's a crazy argument to make. And I don't think it's not as big a difference as we would have thought it was. Because Deshaun Watson's not Deshaun Watson yet.
So, G,
but obviously there's no discussion.
Not
not playing him would be crazy.
You're playing for, I guess my understanding is, what are you playing for? I'm playing for the investment I made here for this team to get better, right? And I'm only going to get better with the better talent. So I got to get the better talent work. He got to get reps. He got to get hit. He got to be in the mix, right? Yeah, now this guy over here, my man Jacoby, did a great job. A nice guy. Sit down. Sit down.
Your ass down.
Sit down. You've done what you needed to do.
So where I'm going with that is he has to get just that level what Jacoby was playing. If he can get to that level, the Browns have a shot this week. He only has to play as good as Jacoby Brissett was when he left off.
And I don't think that's unreasonable.
We don't have to, and he doesn't have to be no super duper over the top 2 years ago Deshaun Watson. All he got to do is give him that. And I think that's the point that what Stefanski was saying is, hey, cool down. Jacoby's telling him, calm down.
But I'm
put
saying,
it in his head.
But I'm saying
You don't need
anybody
that.
that's asking for, who may even suggested to make a swap.
Oh, no, we ain't swapping.
That's not what we're here for.
No, we're not swapping.
We done made the investment now. They laid out all the quarterbacks. They got all this guaranteed money on the screen yesterday, right? He got $230 million guaranteed money, right? You're committed to this. You're going to see this all the way through.
And that's why, even with me, I'm not a big Joe Woods fan. I'm not a Joe Woods fan in the least bit. But given what I know about the organization and who Kevin Stefanski is, Jason said it. They're not going to get rid of him during the year. That's just not their philosophy. They're committed to this year. They'll reevaluate in the postseason. And it's the same way with Deshaun Watson. Even if Deshaun Watson came out and threw 10 picks and looked untenable, he's going to start. Yeah. Just the same way they stick behind the rest of their guys. And that just the same way they gave Baker Mayfield when he was hurt. They could have put anybody else in, but he said, no, I'm going to give you the credit. You start what you finish.
It's irrelevant to even ask. You were bringing up a point of saying that Brissett might. In no way were you saying they should play.
No, he's not saying that.
Right. To even ask that question is absurd. There is, unless Watson gets hurt, he's playing the rest of the season. It doesn't matter. He could throw 15 picks against the Bengals, and he's still going to play. The next week. It doesn't matter. It's all about getting you. These last games are, we can keep the pie in the sky hope that some miracle happens.
Kool-Aid.
But it's basically getting him ready to be ready to go.
I'm glad it only took 13 weeks for y'all to finally agree with me because I said when the suspension went to 11 games.
Do that later on. They always come on later
It is true. Jason was the first person I heard make that point, and I think now, in hindsight, Jason was right from the get-go.
What were you right
The first time he's been right about anything on the show.
season was over?
As soon as the suspension went to 11 games, it all became about next year.
that.
Well,
It became about,
but you know what,
they
though,
punted
Jason?
on the season at that point.
Here's why.
Gentleman's point.
In theory,
Gentleman's point.
you're right. However, if the defense, you didn't expect the defense to be this crappy.
No.
If the defense had played as we expected
We'd
them
be
to,
in the mix.
they'd be right in the mix right now.
Fall on the onside kick and you're in the mix.
Yeah,
right.
Just fall on the onside kick. That's the game that's going to keep them out of the
That
playoffs.
goes back to G's comment. This has to be addressed because it wasn't that Jacoby Brissett had him in a bad position. They should be in the mix here. But the blunders that keep occurring on his defense. Did anybody see Reed Williams' lack of a tackle yesterday? I was like, oh my God, he's still on the team.
And he patting him on the back, trying to get him out of bounds.
That was pretty
what
bad.
What are you doing? He's trying to shoo him out. Shoot.
Not much to
Shoot now.
complain about for the defense yesterday, but that was a foul.
Get on out of here now.
Oh my God. I said, are you going to do this against Chase? Is this what's happening?
Did you see, who was it, Fields? That dude Pierce, Fields broke down 6 yards ahead of him. Like, I don't know what I'm going to just brace myself for this ride.
Fields got his ass run over.
Oh,
a couple
my
times.
God. He ran him.
He had the touchdown.
Oh.
He had. And I would probably disagree with Tim a little bit. Tim said he saw improved tackling. I don't see that at all.
No.
These
Grant
dudes are
Delpit did have
still-
the one hit on the goal line. That was maybe
He
the best
did.
hit any Browns
The
player
pass
has had
defense
this
at the goal line.
season.
Yes,
Grant
that was a
Delpit
good
looked
play.
better in the LSU highlights this weekend. Stop playing with me.
But they do not.
He
tackle
looked like
well.
a star at LSU though when I thought it was highlights.
By the way, guys, one thing I wanted to hit on, Jay was just furious on our text chain yesterday.
I wasn't really
Is that who
following
kept firing off them texts?
I didn't understand why he was angry.
Yeah, I was like.
He was mad that Stefanski didn't use his timeouts when the Browns had the ball. It was really their last drive of the first half, although they did get the ball back right at the end. But when they had it, the second to last drive, he didn't call the timeouts. They didn't get the first down, and it turned out to be smart that he didn't use He complained he was being too passive. I didn't see it that way. There was plenty of time with 3 outs. Had the Browns gotten the first down, I think they would have They had plenty of time with the 3 timeouts to be aggressive. I thought it was smart. I didn't have any problem with that.
They've done that in the past where you want to see if you got a rhythm first.
Right.
Get the first
teams
down.
do that all the time.
Right. If you get the first down, okay, timeout, now we're going to go.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you don't want to leave extra time for them going the other way. I didn't have any.
Even the Chiefs, I've seen the Chiefs and Bengals, 2 of the best offensive teams in the league, do that.
Jason hit it right. He said,
Yeah.
look, they went in at halftime, and change that whole playbook up. Like, no, they made the decision. Oh, he ain't got it right now, and there's no way we about to call timeout and leave timeout because he just didn't have it. You just like, look, I'm not gonna stop the clock for them and let these dudes run back down the field. We getting ready to run the ball with Kareem Hunt.
Well, go back to that. So the comments out of the players last week that Deshaun was looking crisp, right? That was practice crisp.
Oh,
then you got the real game crisp, and you're like, whoa,
7 on 7 crisp is different levels to this. It's this vast levels to the levels of, like you said,
Yeah.
they ain't got no defensive
It's
ends running
different
around.
levels between a microwave steak and a real steak that's been on the grill.
That's right.
Or if you had a steak, which Deshaun Watson was a steak, hot off the grill, and you sit it outside of the microwave for 2 or 3
up.
hours,
Yeah.
and then you put it back into that microwave, you might as well throw that meat away.
That's right. All right, guys.